Happy Wednesday! It is the Prep Queen Pod taking you to 6 p.m. Eastern Time here on the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. I know yesterday I was out helping my sister move. Shout out to Roadway Movers, by the way. If you do live in New York or the New York area, 100% recommend using Roadway Movers. They are actually the official sponsor of the New York Yankees, which is why I ended up using them. Well, my sister ended up using them. Very successful move yesterday. Again, use it's Ari Epps 10 if you want 10% off of your move. So if anyone has to move, definitely go use them. Today on the show, we're going to talk NBA. Lots of NBA. Yesterday was the first night we saw LeBron. We'll talk about that. There is another quarterback that could be returning, to which if you follow me on social media, you'll see I already made a video about it. I knew this was going to happen. Get to that in a second. My really good friend, Robby, and I always struggle to say his last name, Robby Incmikoski, is going to join the show to talk about his new book that all of you who love Major League Baseball could definitely benefit from reading, especially if you want to know where to travel to in the baseball world. He is a former reporter in Major League Baseball for the Pirates, the Twins, the Rangers. So he's been all around to every Major League ballpark. We're going to talk about the best ones. We'll talk about why his book is going to help you with your MLB travel plans. Of course, it's NBA day, so Mr. Dreamy is going to join the show. Mr. Dreamy 1, he's got some NBA parlays for you guys, some props to discuss. I'm excited to get his take. I already saw some of his card. I'm back in the NBA. I usually hate handicapping the NBA so early. Of course, it's NFL season. Everyone says NBA is either post-New Year's, post-Christmas, February, June, whatever it is. We take advantage of the NBA early. It was really good week 1 to us. Then it tailed off because so many injuries and we didn't have a good sample size with the injuries. We are a month in, so we've got sample size. But we all know that my number one story of the day is because it has to do with me, obviously. I'm going to the Ravens-Bengals Thanksgiving game on next Thursday. And I knew this was going to happen. I just freaking knew it. Now, if you look at the bottom tweet, Ian Rappaport from NFL Network says that Joe Burrow was a full participant in practice with his turf toe injury. The above tweet says that their head coach, Zach Taylor, said until Joe Burrow participates in 11 on 11, they're not going to consider him playing anytime, like whatever. Well, here's the thing. He might not play this week, and I know Joe Flacco was a limited participant. They're trying to throw off their opponent. But when it comes to next Thursday, that's where things get interesting. The Cincinnati Bengals, by the way, let me see. So, yeah, their next, it's Bengals-Ravens on FanDuel, 7.5. So, I was asking my good friend John Murray, who is top guy over at the Westgate Superbook. I said, John, how are you booking the Ravens-Bengals Thanksgiving game? He said, we lowered it from Ravens minus 10.5 to Ravens minus 7.5. If Burrow is all good, it will probably be 6.5. So, again, getting the Bengals, I don't know. That, it scares me. Because if you've got a banged up, now listen, either way, you're either going to have Joe Flacco returning to Baltimore again to face the Ravens on Thanksgiving night, or you're going to have this 3-7 Bengals team. First off, they have to go to New England. So they go to the Patriots 1:00 Sunday. Maybe this is a little like, oh, make the Patriots try to see if it's going to be Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco. It's going to end up probably being Joe Flacco as long as he can play. So that's the Jamar Chase suspension. The Patriots game on Sunday, right? Then you've got Thursday, where you're going to get Jamar Chase back from suspension, go figure, and you're going to get Joe Burrow. So right now, I see the Patriots this morning were 7.5 point favorites. The line actually moved to 7.5 on the Pats before this announcement happened. I'm trying to find the line now, but I can't find a Bengals line. So, oh, there it is. It's back up. It's still 7. Total 50.5. Total was 50.5. Now it's 49.5. Back to 50.5. They don't foresee Joe Burrow's probably not coming back this Sunday to then play on a short week. Joe Burrow could play on a short week against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. And we'll see what happens against the Pats. But if this team's like 3-8, is it worth throwing Joe Burrow on the field? I would say no, but again, he's a competitor and he's going to want to play in primetime on Thursday night against this banged up Ravens team. Anyone could beat the Ravens. The Ravens suck. They screw themselves every single time. So for anybody that didn't believe in me when I said weeks ago, and I said it to my family, and they were like, that's impossible. Joe Burrow's not coming back this quickly. Why not? If your team's 3-8 going into Thursday, why not go and make your come back from injury on Thanksgiving night? Might as well. And Jamar Chase will be back. So that annoys me as a Ravens fan, but I guess it'll be a fun night. Lots of media hype on Thanksgiving. This also annoyed me last night. Not that LeBron came back. Congratulations, LeBron. The headlines pissed me off. I know that everything's about attention grabbing. Everything today is about making everyone clickbait. So the headline around all of sports, when I woke up this morning, because I went to sleep kind of early last night, I was tired from moving my sister into her apartment. Everything said LeBron James makes NBA record season debut. And I know he did because he has made his NBA record 23rd season debut. But he put up 11 points, 12 assists. But like when I'm waking up in the morning to these headlines, I'm waking up and seeing LeBron makes season debut history. And I'm thinking, oh, LeBron put up like a 40 piece, or like it was the most points that LeBron scored in a season debut. No. LeBron just played. This is what we do today. LeBron played. And he put up 11 points, 12 assists. I'm just so over the NBA injuries. I'm so over it. Like I was doing my newsletter at thepropqueen.com. And at thepropqueen.com, I gave out a bunch of different NBA props for today's slate. But there were a lot of injuries in the NBA that I just couldn't get to some of these games. Warriors Heat. Steph Curry day-to-day tweaking his right ankle last night. Bam Adebayo upgraded to questionable with a toe injury this morning. Alex Sarr, the center for the Wizards, questionable with a toe injury. Nuggets at Pelicans. Zion Williamson, of course, questionable with a hamstring injury. Domantas Sabonis out with a knee injury. Keegan Murray probably won't play until tomorrow against Memphis with his thumb injury. He'll make his season debut. And Jalen Brunson's questionable with an ankle injury. So I'm just sitting here like, how the hell am I handicapping the NBA? And granted, I did with some of these games. But these games with all these injuries, the NBA is just a pain in the ass to handicap. I'm going to see if my good friend Robby is coming into the chat now. You signing in. So Robby is going to be coming on. We'll talk some Major League Baseball a little bit. Yo, Midnight Squirrel, why the hell are you here? Why are you here, dude? Sign off. If I don't know anything, why are you wasting your time, buddy? Get off. I'm the first person to tell you to leave. I literally don't care. I'm here to help people. And I just want to make people money in the gambling world. And we've done that. And that's why we get a lot of viewers on this show every day. So there's injuries because they make so much money. And because they make so much money, they protect these players. In the NBA, they make so much money and they don't play. But again, there are some players that are injury prone, like a Jalen Brunson. And of course, you're going to protect Steph Curry. You're going to protect LeBron. LeBron's going to do whatever the hell LeBron wants to do. Mark, bye, Felicia. I know. I hate people that just come on here and talk shit. Such bullshit. Anyway, my friend who's coming on the show now, he knows a thing or two about that because he's worked in the TV world for many years. He's actually had some cool pictures that he sent me, but I couldn't make cool graphics. So I'm going to post this picture of him because that one's the coolest one. And I'm going to try my best to pronounce my really good friend's last name, who, 3 years later, I still can't pronounce it. So my good friend, Robby Incmikoski, is joining the show to talk about his new book. And I'm going to see if I got the name right. Did I get the name right?
You couldn't have said it more perfect, Ariel.
Thank you.
You say it better than my own family does.
Oh, great. That's so good to hear. Well, here's how cool Robby is, because not many people can post a picture like this. Robby is that cool. Vin Scully, the legend. How better do you create credibility than posting a picture with Vin Scully, Robby?
It's actually pretty funny, Ariel, and thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be on here with you. But Vin's final year was 2016, and one of the cool things that he did, which led to one of the stories being my book that we're going to talk about that you're in as well is he took pictures with anybody who wanted to the final year. All they had to do was go up to the TV booth and do it. So I was eating dinner in the press dining room, which is maybe 15, 20 feet from the Dodgers TV booth. And I'm not a guy who does a ton of this stuff, but Vince Scully was my idol. I think the best broadcaster in the history of baseball. And that's just my personal opinion, right? So I walk in, I hustle up, Vin's getting ready. And as we sit down, I said, Vin, I heard you wanted to take a picture with me. And I figure not many people say that. So somebody captured, I wanted to get a different angle of me taking the picture with Vin. And that's what we ended up getting. It's one of the coolest moments of my career. And I always, whenever we were at Dodger Stadium, whenever I was at Dodger Stadium, regardless of what team I was with, I would always make time to go and say hello and talk to Vin, because I think any baseball fan would agree with this, Ariel. I could listen to that man describe paint drying, and I would stop everything I'm doing to listen to that happen.
You know, legends are legends. Even when at the end of his career, John Sterling, the Yankees radio voice, was getting so much crap for being old, I took every opportunity that I could to go into John's booth and say hello to him, just because you never know how many more chances you get to talk to a legend. Mark wants to know what you guys were laughing at.
The line that I said, and somebody happened to catch the picture. I believe it was Vin's stage manager, a guy who I did a story with in the book, Boyd Robertson. And I gave him my phone. I said, look, I know I'm going to get the professional picture, which I have that as well. And it's a great photo, but like the real one that they took in the booth. But I said, just take a few on my phone. And that's where we ended up. And I said, hey, Vin, do you want to take a picture with me? And that's how the laugh started. And that was it. That literally was one line. I'll never forget it.
Robby was the reporter and host for the Twins, Pirates, Rangers. You've been everywhere, which is why your book is so important for MLB fans. There's always the question, where do I go next? My grandparents and I, we traveled to different baseball stadiums throughout the country, throughout my middle school and high school life before I went to college. It was our favorite summer trip to take, was finding a new place to go. But the question was always, where do we go next?
Yeah.
So you got the idea to write your own book, which is so incredible. It's called Sacred Grounds.
Yep.
How did you come up with the concept?
It's actually a great question. And thanks for asking it. It's been a heck of a journey. I spent 16 years of my life, 16 summers traveling baseball. And I started in 2009 with the Minnesota Twins, their final year in the Metrodome. And then they opened Target Field in 2010 the next year, and I spent the first 3 years at Target Field as a reporter for the Minnesota Twins. Then I moved to Pittsburgh, my home state, as I'm from Philadelphia, the other side of the state, and was doing the Pirates for a couple of years. And I said, you know what? I love taking pictures of baseball stadiums, but I just didn't think I took enough of them, because I knew at some point I wasn't going to have this job forever. So in the offseason between 2016 and 2017, the Pirates were getting set to have opening day at Fenway Park. And Fenway Park obviously is the most historic park in baseball besides Wrigley Field. So I went and bought a camera, digital cameras. The price of digital cameras was dropping, Ariel. And I was like, you know what? I kept looking around and I thought I can get a pretty good digital camera for about $450. So I saw one on sale around Christmas time. So I bought it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take some pictures with a digital camera, not a cell phone, because the technology of cell phones was getting so much better. And I said, you know what? I'm going to walk around on the workout day because we have unfettered access. I don't have anywhere to be. I can just roam around and take pictures. So that's what I did. So I took pictures of Fenway Park, and then the bug bit me. And I had been to all ballparks at that time.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I had been to every ballpark except for Houston, because Houston switched from the NL to the AL in 2013, which was the year I came to Pittsburgh. And I never went there with the Twins for my 4 years there. And as it turns out, I wouldn't get there until 2019, which is the one and only time I ever worked a series in Houston. Every other ballpark I had been to at least 5 times, for at least 5 series at every other ballpark in baseball, which, again, for doing what we do and having the love of baseball like you and I do, and millions and millions and millions of others, that was pretty cool to me. So my only goal was to create a little photo album that I was just going to create at home with all my pictures when all my friends came over. And I just thought that'd be pretty cool to have. It'd be like, I don't know, 500, maybe 1,000 pictures. I'll go crazy, just have something really nice. And then I was at a friend of mine had a book launch party, and I met his author, who was a big baseball fan. I said, hey, I had this random idea. Can we create a photo book? But not just that. I don't want to just put photos in it. And even though that's cool as it is, and that would be really cool to do, I said, you know what? I spent all this time in baseball, getting stories, developing relationships, knowing people for as long as I knew him. And I said, why don't I just call around and just see who I know around the game? Let's see how good my relationships really are in the game. So I would Google each of the 30 ballparks and look at the top moments at each place. And I just went down a rabbit hole late at night, and I started looking. And then, for example, the night Cal Ripken broke the consecutive game streak when he played played 21-31, right? And I thought, let me look at the lineup, see if I know anybody with either team, either a coach, a player, anybody. Turns out a buddy of mine played third base right next to him, Jeff Houston, former Major League infielder. So I called him and I said, Jeff, do you remember that night? He's like, do I remember? Oh my God, I remember like every minute of that night. I go, can we do a couple questions on the record? And I ended up getting a great story about it. So I did that, and I ended up interviewing 122 people, and the rest they say is history. And it wasn't
what
just
makes
there.
it so cool in your book, because you could see up above or here to the side, you see Fenway Park, you see the Dodgers, and all of this is not just the photographs that you took, correct?
I took every single one unless noted. So there's maybe the two that you sent to me, Ariel, are in there. Jeff Houston sent me one of a picture that Cal signed for him the night he broke the streak record.
Wow.
And maybe like one or two others. I have to think off the top of my head. So it was just like that. But in the game of baseball, there are so many stories to be told out there that fans don't know about. And that is largely the story behind the story. So, like you, I knew of your history, with your wonderful grandfather, Martin Cohen, and how you came to fall in love with baseball and the New York Yankees, right? You went to 20 consecutive opening days with your grandfather, right? And obviously, sadly, we lost your grandfather during the 2024 season. And I'm not trying to go down that road, but the point is, how many people have a story like that to tell, whether that person is still alive or passed on, but they got their love of baseball from somebody they're very, very close with, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, whoever it is, grandfather, grandmother, no matter what. I went to the last opening day at Veterans Stadium with my grandmother, who passed away in 2019. And I'll never forget Jim Thome hitting a triple. And that game was against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the pitcher who got the win that day, not the pitcher, got the two players from the game that day are in my book. And it's kind of crazy how life works. And baseball is kind of the catalyst for that. Baseball connects generations. It connects fans to a city. It connects a baseball team to a city. And it's not like cookie cutter dimensions that you have in football, basketball. That's
the thing that makes Major League Baseball so special, because you go to different stadiums. There's something about entering a baseball stadium, even if you don't love baseball, that's just so beautiful. Talking about the connection to the stadiums, and again, thank you for including Papa Marty and I in your book. It should live on for generations. And for everyone who does get the book, which we'll tell you how to get it soon, you can see Papa Marty and I all over Robby's Yankee
Stadium
section.
Right here.
I'm so honored. I can't wait. I have to get a version for Grandma, by the way. She'll love it.
This might be the coolest picture. How many people, Ariel, have sat with Joe DiMaggio at 3 years old with their grandfather? I would envision you're one of, I don't know.
Well, Joe DiMaggio would not take pictures with anybody except me.
Didn't?
No, he was not nice. My grandpa was with my dad and I. He was all he wanted was a Joe D sign something for his basement. And he was a big collector, for anyone that doesn't know. And he wouldn't take a picture until he saw me. And he said, put her on the table and take a picture while I sign. It was just me. And my grandpa said, from that moment, you were destined to be in baseball, which is something that I will hold on to forever. But I know that the chat also wants to know about baseball stadiums. And the thing I think that's so unique about your book is it's going to help people because they'll see a picture, they'll hear a story, maybe they'll even see about certain events, certain things like a Wrigleyville, right? People want to experience the experience around a stadium. For you, who's traveled so much around to all these stadiums, where is the best game day experience?
Well, I think the answer to that question varies, and here's why. Do people like to make a whole day of it? Are you looking to, get there 3, 4 hours before, have dinner, have a drink or two, have a lot of drinks and no dinner? Do you want to just show up, avoid traffic? Are you just trying to watch the game and go home? Is it a place you're only going to once? Is it
So
a place?
let's put this into 3 categories.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to trick you. But
no, I know you're right. Every game day
there's a valid
experience is
answer
different.
depending on what people are looking to do.
So because I have a next guest at 5:30, let's make it 3 categories.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got the fun category first.
Wrigley Field.
Most fun ballpark, Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field.
Most nostalgic ballpark.
Man, I think we have to go with the obvious answer, which is Fenway Park, because it's Fenway and the Green Monster, and it's so small and it's so cramped and so tight. I think that's why.
Then I guess most beautiful ballpark.
Oh, I would. You know what? For me, that's a great question. You got to. Look, I live in Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh's the obvious answer. But there are some gorgeous, gorgeous ballparks.
Pittsburgh or San Francisco?
San Francisco is beautiful. Baltimore is beautiful with the warehouse. I love Kansas City and the fountains. They got this giant scoreboard. You get the highway behind it. Yeah, it's not scenic behind it, but it's a beautiful place. You walk in and you look down at home plate when you get in there.
Aren't they trying to move Kansas City's ballpark?
I think they're going to. Yeah, I think in the next 5 years they're going to be in another place.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. It sucks actually, but yes. But yeah, and then San Diego's a beautiful place as well. There's so many. But if you just ask right off the top of my head, I got to go Baltimore. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City, San Diego.
Which one did you have the best experience in personally?
The best experience personally is probably Kansas City as a reporter, simply because how well their PR staff is, how great their players are with the media, how accessible they are. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's pretty easy in and out. Baltimore's a beautiful place, easy to get around. The ushers wear the old school orange shirts and everything. Yeah. It's that's a real. I know you have a lot of experience.
A lot of people don't realize how important it is for reporters in any stadium. You are going to rank it based on how easy it is to get from field to press box and all around the stadium, because there are places that are absolute nightmares as reporters.
Oh, Dodger Stadium.
Really? Why?
It's just there's like few elevators. The press box is up there. Security is ridiculous. I can't imagine what's like with Shohei Ohtani now, and the super team that they have. And that's just so inconvenient. It's old. The elevator takes forever. It's a disaster. It's getting from the elevator through the tunnel. It's the worst place for a big league reporter.
Which stadium would you like to see redone?
Oh man, redone. Man, I wish Oakland was more convenient. I know they're not playing there anymore, obviously, but Oakland wasn't.
You wish they didn't go to Vegas? I feel like you would be happy Vegas is getting a team.
No, that would be real cool. Don't get me wrong. But like there was just a special charm that the Coliseum had, but it was very inconvenient. It was dirty. It was inconvenient. That's because they didn't take care of it and the owners let it go to crap. But yeah, redone. Dodger Stadium had a little bit of had been retooled by the lady that wrote the foreword in my book, Janet Marie Smith. But to see a ballpark redone, I think Fenway. But it's an existing.
They're like not allowed. It's a monument.
There's only so much you can do with a place like that. So yeah, and Kauffman Stadium in KC could use an update too, but that's because it's so old. That's all. It's just old, and you can't redo certain parts of it.
Yeah, Fenway, that was the coolest thing I learned on the tour. They're a monument, so you have to get approval by the city to be able to touch anything, like getting expanded seats, which was really funny because people are naturally fatter today. So they had to expand the seats, and they needed approval or something like right before because the seats were so narrow from how old the stadium is. And right. That's the true fact, people. I'm not being mean. But Robby, I want to tell the people where they can find the Sacred Grounds book so they can read up on these stories and figure out where their next baseball trip's going to be?
Yeah, so it's only sold on my site. It's Robbyinc, ROBBYINC.com. I'm going to get out to a few places, but I'm just waiting for the big shipment to come in. We're working on a couple things right now. But Robbyinc, ROBBYINC, $55 plus shipping. It's a multimedia project. There are QR codes in the book where I have ballpark galleries on my site, more pictures, interview transcripts, a whole bunch of other cool stuff where any fans of baseball can just get lost in the game, Ariel.
I am so excited. I need a copy. I need to buy one. I need Grandma to have one so she can keep it in her house. She'll be so excited. And I want you to sign it.
It would be my honor to get one into your hands, and I'm so thankful to you. You know, what's really cool, and here's the last thing I'll say. I know you have another guest, but, you know, people have been really open and honest with sharing their stories, you know, and it's a very personal one that you shared with you and your grandfather. And that's the coolest part of being a reporter, are the relationships that you develop, you know, as a result of the job, and you get to learn people's stories and learn their history.
Give us one not my story that stood out to you from the book.
One story that stood out. I'm going to say, well, I interviewed the guy that gave up Barry Bonds' 763rd homer, Mike Bassick, my former broadcast partner with the Texas Rangers, and he gave an in-depth look at what that night was from his perspective, and that was pretty cool to tell.
Ooh, okay. So everybody make sure to go get Sacred Grounds over at RobbyINC.com, right? RobbyINC.com.
ROBBYINC. Yep, that's it.
Go get Sacred Grounds. Find out where your next ballpark trip's going to be. Read up on all the really cool stories. Robby has a ton of contacts, which is why he's so successful in the business, because knowing it's not what you know, it's who you know, but it's a little bit of what you know.
Well, you got to get them to trust you a little bit too, but sometimes that can be a challenge, as I think we've all experienced at some point in time.
Yeah, I just had a guy comment in the chat for some reason that I know nothing about sports, but yet here he is on my YouTube page. So congratulations for wasting your time. I'm not even going to call him a name. Robby Incmikoski, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for including me in your book, Sacred Grounds. I can't wait to read it and get one in my own hands. I'll talk to you soon.
Ariel, you are the best. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Robby. And I know everybody here loves to do some gambling, so you know that I'm going to do some gambling. But thank you to Robby for coming onto the show. Guys, definitely go check out Sacred Grounds. I did my whole story with my grandfather in there, and I'm not doing this to boast or talk about me. This has nothing to do with me, but the book is really cool, and I've gotten to see a lot of what Robby's done with it as he's started this process a while ago. So getting all these stories around the baseball world is just so nostalgic for all of us. And there's going to be a way on his website as well that you could see more stories. And maybe even at some point we could get Robby to get you guys involved so everyone could start writing their stories about their favorite ballparks. And then it just becomes a really cool blog that everybody in the community could be a part of. Coming on now, we're going to talk some NBA props. I'm going to do my NBA prop queen edges towards the end of the show. But you guys know this guy because he comes on the show with us all the time. He loves to give us some of his favorite NBA props, and he's got parlays that he loves to give out. We've got a Mr. Dreamy One. That's where you can find him on X. What's up, Dream?
Everything is going well. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited to have you on. And again, public apologies to me because, to you from me, because Dream was supposed to come on last week while I was in Aruba. And then I double booked the show. So I apologize for keeping Mr. Dreamy One away from all of you guys. But we've got some really good NBA action tonight. Before we get into your parlays of the night, how has the NBA been treating you?
It's been a great season so far. Last couple of days, not the best, but so far in the season, it's early, but we're up about 18 units. Been fortunate to hit a few super long shots, and it's been a great season. So just gonna try and keep it up. Gonna try and keep it up and keep trying to find some edges.
Let's find some edges for tonight. I know that the chat will probably have some questions as well, like Mark asking, because I was going to ask you about LeBron. Do you think LeBron under 10 points hits at least once this year?
It could, but I saw a number at plus 1,500. I don't personally think it's worth that because if he does, he may do it once or twice. He still has the double-digit scoring streak going, and we know LeBron is, he likes his stats. So, only way LeBron doesn't score 10 points in the game is if he leaves with injury. So
yeah, which I assume at that point people would then be getting their like injury money back specials that they like to give out for people. LeBron is back though. The Lakers, they get a big win last night. How much does LeBron scare you when it's on and off the floor, just for betting Lakers games in general, now that he's back, because there's so much uncertainty?
Yeah, well, he looked okay last night. It was a pretty good opponent to start with in the Jazz. So, nice opponent to start with. But he looked good last night. And personally, I'm a Laker fan, so I'm
That's
interested
why
to
you
see
and
how
Hakeem are friends.
but yeah, I'm interested to see how it works. I think LeBron, the good thing about LeBron, he can be a Swiss Army knife. So as long as he's ready to just give the keys to Luka, which I think he is, as long as he's ready to do that, and let Austin Reeves continue to flourish because he's playing amazing this season and just kind of. It sounds crazy because some people think he's the GOAT, but just get in where you fit in. You're like 40.
But you think that Austin Reeves will continue if Luka and LeBron are on the floor?
What did he have last night? Like 20 something, 24?
That,
I think
that was
it's a
one game back though. It
Yeah,
scares
yeah,
me now.
yeah. It's tough to say. First of all, I don't think it's tough for him to continue to average like 25 or 27, whatever he's averaging. I think that he's still good for 20 a game, though. I think there's a universe where he can average 20 and LeBron can average 20 while Luka does what he does. I do think that because just of the usage and the way they're going to be playing, I think you're going to see a lot of Luka. Like they're going to be staggered. So Luka's going to be the main thing, but you're going to have some lineups led with Austin Reeves, some lineups led with LeBron. And I think that'll give Austin Reeves continued opportunity to flourish. But I mean, again, like I'm a Laker fan, and we got to make sure Austin Reeves continues to blossom. Man, we can't. I love LeBron, but he's 40 something. We got to bring his usage down and keep letting the other guys flourish, in my opinion. So yeah, I think it's possible. I think LeBron can have like a 18 8-8 season, or even a 21 8-8 season, and be just fine.
Yeah, listen, when pitchers have to learn how to throw different pitches in baseball because they get old, LeBron's got to learn to be more of a team player now that he's old. So we'll see if he could actually do it. I'm just kidding. But anyway, Mr. Dreamy won. We've got your first 2-pick parlay of the night. Drew Eubanks to go 8+ points and Russell Westbrook 4+ assists. You get two of these together for -130. How come you like these?
Yeah, pretty juicy play. Not too bad for a prop, but overall juicy play. Absolutely love it though. So, Drew Eubanks this season, when he plays the last two, he's played 3 games this season without Sabonis, and the last 2 games he scored. Let me pull up the stats just to make sure. I want to say double digits in both, but I just want to double check here. Yeah, he scored 12 and 6. You have Russell Westbrook, who famously is a stat padding king. And he likes to make his centers look like all-star centers, just if only for a night. So whether Drew Eubanks starts in the role of Sabonis or not, I still think he's going to get usage. He's got a nice little floater. He's not the best on the free throw line, but he'll most likely get there once or twice tonight with Russell Westbrook feeding him the ball, trying to get his furious triple-double, because he won't have much time because this will probably be a blowout. I think Drew Eubanks can have 4 or 6 points in the first half and cover this rather easily, and I think his points are ladderable. Now, he's a big man. He's not going to shoot threes. So if I can bring his 8 points down and put it with Russell Westbrook to get 4 assists, something that you would think is the lowest of baselines for Russ, especially, again, without Sabonis, and he'll be starting, then I'll take that as a nice parlay piece just to bring the juice down. But I couldn't talk you off Drew Eubanks 9 points. We got his ladder. We played his 15 at +630 for 0.15 units. I think it was like +630, +660. And again, it's just going to be a lot of floaters, a lot of putbacks off of misses. And I think 8 points is generally a steal. So we'll take Drew Eubanks, who's the backup center on the Sacramento Kings for what it's worth. But again, he should be starting, if not playing, about 20 to 27 minutes. So love it.
Take advantage of it while you can until Sabonis ends up coming back from that knee injury. I love taking advantage of some of these injuries for sure, especially early in the season in the NBA. Hope everyone can see this because I can't, because I'm blind, but I made this graphic. We've got a 4-pick parlay from Dream at just over 5 to 1. You've got action in this Hornets-Pacers game. The Pacers' second worst offense in the NBA so far this year. Rockets-Cavs should be a nice defensive battle. And the Kings and the Thunder, for the third time already in the season, going head-to-head. How come this is your 4-leg parlay?
All right, so I've already spoke on Drew Eubanks, so we'll
Yep.
move on from him and we'll go to Reed Shepherd. Reed is playing really good basketball as of late. You can get his point prop at 12 right now. Jabari Smith Jr. I'm not sure if Jabari's been ruled out or not, but he's
I
trending.
thought it was
toward-
questionable last
Yeah,
I saw.
yeah, he's questionable. I'm not sure if he's been ruled out or not. Regardless, not the best matchup on paper, as Cleveland gives up the least amount of points to point guards this season, but he's the sixth man, and the usage is going to be out of control, in my opinion. Well, not out of control, but the usage is going to be almost as high as you'll get from him this season, just because there's going to be no Tari Eason, maybe no Jabari Smith Jr., obviously no Fred VanVleet. He's been out the majority of the season. So I think you'll have really good usage. I think that'll be able to offset the fact that the Cavs tend to defend point guards really well. Overall, he's covered this line 6 straight games with a high of 21. And of his last 10, he's covered it 8 out of his last 10 games. He's gotten 12 points. Really good shooter, shooting almost 50% on the season from 3. And this whole, the Cavs being so great defending point guards could be a little overrated, could be a little skewed. Ryan Rollins just had 24 points against him. He's a point guard. Now, Giannis did go out. Ja Morant left early, so he only had 7. Emmanuel Quickly and Davion Mitchell each had 25 and 16 back-to-back. Then Davion had 11 before that. Josh Giddey had 15, Tyrese Maxey 27, Nickeil Alexander 16. So while they may defend the point guard well, it's not like we need 23 points. We just need 12. So I think Reed Shepherd can get there rather easily. He'll generally hit 1 to 3 threes. Great free throw shooter and has a nice little mid-range game. So big fan of Reed Shepherd tonight. Think he can impact the game. And last but not least, a little risky, but I love these young centers for the Hornets. Moussa Diabate, if not the best.
I've been shocked. I was looking at it today. The Hornets have allowed the second least rebounds per game in the league.
Oh, man. And first off, see, Moussa, he's an offensive rebounding monster. He may get 3 offensive rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds in his 22, 23 minutes of play tonight, let alone a few defensive rebounds. Also, he closes the game. So if for some reason this is a blowout and starter sit, he's going to be on the floor toward the end of the game. How do I know? Because I've cashed a few double-doubles with him, getting it super late in the game when the game was out of reach. As far as Ryan, the starting center, it's the same thing. They're on a split time. I can't think of the proper phrase, but both of the basically they're splitting time like you would see a running back duel in the NFL split carries. Ryan plays a bit more minutes. He's playing about in his last 3 games. He's playing about 27 minutes per game. He's got 6 rebounds in 3 straight. Just recently had his first kid, and he's been playing well since he's gotten back. Moussa, again, Moussa's stats are one is a little swayed because he played 43 minutes, but his last 3 games, 20 minutes, 24 minutes, and 23 minutes, 7, 11, and 13 rebounds. That's for Moussa off the bench. And again, Ryan, his last 3 games, 28, 26, and 27 minutes, 10, 7, and 9 off of the bench. You can always be fearsome of LaMelo Ball, stealing rebounds, trying to chase a triple-double. Con Knipple is a monster. He's a pretty good rebounder for a guard, so you can be wary of him grabbing a few rebounds. And Miles Bridges always can get you 7 or 8 rebounds. But with that being said, I think this is an amazing baseline for each of these players. You see this prop is on DraftKings, or this lay is on DraftKings, which happens to have like a first half injury insurance. So, I think it's as safe can get.
No, I love that you give out these parlays, and you tend to take advantage of buying down a little bit, and you're okay with eating some of that juice just to almost, you feel, guarantee yourself a better shot.
Yes, and especially when you're dealing with bench players. So like Reed Shepard is 12 points like minus 125. You can get the 13 at plus 103. If he was a starter and I like the angle, I'd probably be more willing to lay it. The same with Eubanks. If I didn't think he was in a timeshare tonight with Precious Achua, I mean, honestly, I would lay the 9. But if I can get 8 points and 4 rebounds, sometimes it's the deal. But oftentimes, obviously, we know these lines are sharp in Vegas. Anything can happen. Foul trouble, coaches being weird with lineups, anything can happen. So sometimes you just want to get yourself a little more insurance, especially if you're dealing with a player that's not going to be top 4 in usage most nights when you just think you're getting a value on a bench player or replacement type player. So that's why I don't mind it.
Well, we've got injuries galore in the NBA, Darius Garland being one of them for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the point guard out with a toe injury. We haven't seen him since we saw him on November 10th on Monday, but he's only played 3 games. How do we take advantage of the Cavs with no Darius Garland in a tough matchup with Houston?
I'm not sure where Lonzo Ball's RA is. At last check, it was 7.5, and I think that's where you want to attack. His last 3 games, he's played 20, 22, and 23 minutes, 10, 12, and 10 rebounds and assists. If you want to add his PRA, I couldn't talk you off, but we know Lonzo's going to get most of his points from 3. So to me, you're basically just betting on him to make threes. But we know what Lonzo Ball is. He's like a Josh Giddey type player. And he's probably going to get, again, between 20 to 25 minutes. So that's the first place I will look. And the second place is just got to be Donovan Mitchell. Oh, my goodness. I can take a look really quick. I don't know how many 30-point
Donovan Mitchell, by the way, I did the math today. In the games without Darius Garland, averaging just over 30 points a game in his last 10 games without Garland, has gone over his points prop 8 of the 10 times without Garland.
And Houston does defend guards well, but again,
Right.
Sometimes you just got to be wary of these matchups because it's about who they're going against. We're not necessarily talking about, one of the best point guards or lead guards in the game when you're putting that average and you're taking that average into account. So, yes, Donovan Mitchell would definitely be, if I wanted to bet on the guy and feel comfortable with, it would be Donovan Mitchell starting and then Lonzo Ball off the bench or kind of in a complementary role with his RA.
That's the ESPN game, 7 p.m. Eastern. The next ESPN game, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You have to think it's on ESPN. Jalen Brunson's day-to-day. He participated in shoot-around. How are we approaching the Knicks tonight against the Mavs?
Man, it's going to be tough. Jalen Brunson, I think you're going to get good value on him, especially because OG Anunoby is out. But it's always tough for me to bet on a player their first game back unless I think that you're gonna get an amazing value on the line. You're not getting any sort of discount on Brunson. So I like him tonight. I think he can have a big game, and that's where I would probably look first. And then maybe Karl-Anthony Towns. Gafford's there. He's not gonna want to jump out at Karl-Anthony Towns from the 3. And Derek Lively's back, but he's probably going to be super limited minutes wise. So I would look toward the stars. Maybe look toward a Jordan Clarkson point or 3 prop off of the bench. And on the Dallas side, if Cooper Flag is going to sit, PJ Washington, I'm not sure. I know they got a couple of guys questionable. It's the NBA. You never know until 20 minutes before the game who's going to play. But Najee Marshall generally plays really well. When he gets elevated minutes, maybe his points, post rebounds, PRA, something like that.
We love to hear the Mr. Dreamy takes on all of these injuries that we could take advantage of in the NBA. He's got his parlays up and ready to go. You can find him at Mr. What is the underscore? Is Mr.
Underscore Dreamy 1.
Underscore Dreamy 1, right? Mr. Underscore Dreamy 1. I'm like, where is the underscore in your X name? Mr.
Yes, I don't know if I've ever told you or your audience how I got the nickname.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny story. So in high school, in order to graduate from my high school, we had to do 100 hours of community service as a senior. We did it in like middle schools, elementary schools, and nursing homes. And one day my senior year, toward the end, we were finishing our customer service, our 100 hours of community service in a nursing home, and there was like an old lady who was like, "Oh, you're so dreamy. I think you should come to my room later and help me with my TV or something like that." And obviously, I was there with a couple of friends because we would go like in groups of 4 to 8 and help out on these certain floors. And that's how I got the name, because my friends would just bother me for like the rest of the year, like, "Oh, you're so dreamy, you're so dreamy." So it kind of stuck that way. And then, got into gaming. And well, I've always been into gaming, not anymore, but I used to always be into gaming. So I just like would make it my name, my gamer tag on Xbox, Mr. Dreamy One. And I would create wrestlers and call them Mr. Dream. So that's kind of how the nickname slipped. I'm not going around here.
So is the proper way to say it Mr. Dream or Mr. Dreamy?
I would say, well, okay, so my nickname is Dream, but that's short for Dreamy, because I don't want guys, no offense, calling me Dreamy. So I mean, it's just easier to call me Dream. But the handle on not YouTube, Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever, the handle is Mr. Dreamy One, just because when I was making a Twitter account,
someone else is called Mr. Dreamy, aren't they?
Or yeah, Mr. Dreamy, Dream, Mr. Dream, like all those names were taken when I got on Twitter, so I kind of had to go to the Mr. Dreamy One. That's all.
It is amazing that I got on X Twitter in 2008, 2009. I was able to get Ariel Epstein. I was the first Ariel Epstein to try to be on X.
That's crazy, because wow, yeah, and I couldn't even get Mr.
I couldn't even get Prop Queen. I had to do Prop Queen Sports. Someone took Prop Queen. It was like a yoga instructor that sells props for yoga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's hard out there. It's hard to get your name, but you've got the name, because not only are you dreamy, your picks are dreamy, the parlays are dreamy. Mr._Dreamy1 is where you can find him on X. Dream, thanks as always for hopping on with us and giving us some winners. We appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.
All right, best of luck tonight. Thanks for having me on, Ariel.
Thanks, Dream. I love that story. I actually did not know that about Dream. I had no idea that he got his nickname that way, but it makes sense. I could see him with his smile walking into an old age home and a woman saying he's dreamy. You guys have probably gotten that before. I've gotten way more disgusting comments, but who cares? We've got the Prop Queen edges of the day, my royal locks of the day as well. I was trying to see if there's any propaganda. So before I jump into my Prop Queen edges, let's see if John Ewing from over at BetMGM, he did. Ooh, okay, we've got some propaganda. Let me just snapshot this real quick. Oh boy. Some of these props might change that I have in Prop Queen edges, because it looks like Benedict Mathurin is going to play, and that's going to make an impact. So let's start with some propaganda. These are the most bet on props of the day over at BetMGM. Benedict Mathurin over 21.5 points. He's only played 3 games this year. He's been great because the Pacers have been the second worst offense in the NBA. When he's on the floor, at least he could take on an offensive role, and Pascal Siakam could play more on the boards, which is what we're going to get to, and why I might have to change that Siakam play. But Benedict Mathurin has been the offensive production for the Pacers when it's not just Pascal Siakam. Raul Kalkbrenner over 16.5 points plus rebounds. Jalen Brunson over 2.5 boards. Karl Anthony Towns under 24.5 points, and RJ Barrett under 1.5 3-pointers made. See, I don't think I'm going to bet anything Knicks tonight. I can't predict what the Knicks are going to do with Jalen Brunson coming off an ankle injury. Now, we know that Jalen Brunson, if you guys have seen the memes, there are memes of Jalen Brunson going into the locker room and picking from a million different feet that he could, like, it's a cartoon that he could, like, flip onto his feet and ankles, because Jalen Brunson's always got feet and ankle problems. I'm sure he'll be okay. But now that we are under a new head coach who actually may limit people on the floor, I am a little bit nervous about the Knicks. And I'm nervous about Brunson. And I'm nervous about how that impacts Cat. So I'm probably staying away from the Knicks tonight, just with the uncertainty of Jalen Brunson's ankle. But again, these are the most bet on props. So it's up to you. Do you want to fade the public, or are they right? I'm sure that some might get right, but remember, there have been times where they get swept. These are the Prop Queen edges of the day that I gave out in the PropQueen.com newsletter this morning. So if you are a premium subscriber to the PropQueen.com, you can get these early in the morning. And then the basic subscribers get these after the show. So if you want an early look, then you can definitely go to thepropqueen.com. I was going to do something and now I blanked. Oh, I know. So today's Prop Queen edges are brought to you by props.cash. So a lot of these are found on props.cash, where you can find some of these trends. Some of them I get myself, and some of them are from props.cash. So I'll let you guys know which ones you can find on props.cash, and then I will show you some of these numbers. So for example, we can look to Jared Allen and his rebounding, which has been very bad recently. I mean, he's not looking like the center that we know over in Cleveland. And this is going to be a really tough matchup for him against the Houston Rockets. So let's share the screen. Share screen, props.cash. We love props.cash. It makes my life so much easier. And remember, you can subscribe to props.cash using promo code PropQueen, and you get 50% off of your first month. So make sure to sign up today to props.cash, and you guys will be able to benefit like I do from this. It's really great and helpful. It ends up being like $9 if you do it for the first month on props.cash with the promo code. And then it's about $19.99 after that. But it's $9 for the first month that you could try it out and get some of these trends, like I'm going to show you here with Jared Allen and his rebounds against the Rockets. So if you check out Jared Allen on the road this year, he's had a lot of red. On the road, he's gone under in 5 of the last 7 games this season. And then you look to against Houston, you can go head-to-head. Head-to-head against Houston, 3 of the 4 against the Rockets since 2023 have gone under for Jared Allen. So he does not match up well in the last couple of years against the Houston Rockets. Then you could go down here where you could get the Houston Rockets side, and you will see on the Rockets side that centers this season, well, the last 10, that's 29% over. So 70% of these centers in the last 10 games have gone under their rebound prop. And this season, that's even more. I mean, you're seeing a number of almost 80% of centers going under their rebound prop against Houston this year. So I don't have much faith in Jared Allen today. Then I was looking at the Pascal Siakam numbers. So Pascal Siakam this year in the games. So looking at his, what did I say over here? Pascal Siakam rebounds. So looking at Pascal Siakam rebounds, and I was saying the under, but that was only if Benedict Mathurin was out. And it looks like he's going to play. So here's what you need to know about, like, here's why I love this website, because you could see how players do with or without certain players on their team. Rebounds here. With Mathurin, oh no, that's head-to-head, sorry. 2 of the 3 this season in games with Benedict Mathurin have gone over 6.5 rebounds, because Pascal Siakam could focus a bit more on the boards when he's got an offensive weapon like Mathurin, who's one of the second leading scorer on the team behind Siakam through just 3 games, though. Mathurin's only played 3 games. And now he's getting an opponent in the Charlotte Hornets who have allowed the second least rebounds per game, 5th most assists, but defensively they've been a bit better than last season. And I'm worried now because look at that. So that's games with Mathurin this year. Games without him. Look at all that. Under 6.5 rebounds. He has to focus on the boards. Siakam can't focus on the boards when he's got to put up points, because with Mathurin out, then Siakam's got to put up points. So now that Mathurin's in, I don't love this play. But again, just something to keep note of so far this season. Mathurin in and out makes a big difference in Pascal Siakam, and that's stuff that you could find on props.cash. Joseph Rodriguez says, you guys are talking in the chat about something else. Okay, Bam having a minutes limit. That's good to know. So we've got some more plays for today. So Anthony Edwards. This was also pretty crazy. Anthony Edwards, as much as I hate that this is like a public play and I hate betting anything public, Anthony Edwards has been absolutely crushing it against bad defenses this year. So against bad defenses, Anthony Edwards, so he's faced, hold on one second, let me just get this graphic back up. In the 4 games that Ant-Man has played against bottom 10 defenses this year, Edwards is averaging just under 36 points a game. He's actually gone over 27.5 points in each of his last 3 games against Washington, averaging 43 points a game against the Wizards. The Wizards' defense, they have allowed the most points per game to their opponents. 60% of shooting guards have gone over their points prop against the Wizards. So since we're off to see the Wizard, it's Anthony Edwards over 27.5 points. Rudy Gobert over 22.5 points plus rebounds. The position that's had the most success against the Wizards has been centers. Gobert's averaging just under 15 points and just under 12 rebounds when facing a bottom 10 rebounding team this season through 5 games. Gobert is averaging 31 points plus rebounds in 3 of his last 4 games. Gobert is averaging 31 points plus rebounds against the Wizards, going over 22.5 points plus rebounds in 3 of his last 4 against Washington. The Wizards, I said they allow the most points per game. They also allow the 4th most points in the paint and the most rebounds per game to their opponents. Alex Sarr seemingly out tonight, according to the chat. So with Sarr out, Rudy Gobert should eat over 22.5 points plus rebounds. And I know here in the chat, you guys are talking about Russell Westbrook. Well, Russell Westbrook has been feasting. I know that. But he's had 2 great games already in this matchup. It is now the 3rd matchup between Sacramento and OKC this year. So you're going to tell me that Russell Westbrook's going to go out for a 3rd game? He already, against OKC, had 16, 9, and 4, 24, 7, and 9. I do not have any faith in a 3rd time's a charm for Russell Westbrook. In fact, 3rd time's a charm for the OKC Thunder, who have been the best defense in the league. They allow the least points per game, 2nd least assists per game. So Russell Westbrook under his 22.5 points plus assists stood out, under PRA stood out. Westbrook this year has played 9 games against the top 10 defense. Against those 9 teams, in those 9 games, he's averaging 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. You know what that adds to? 20.5 points plus assists, 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Both those numbers are under. He's averaging 16 points plus assists against OKC in his last 10 games against them. He's gone under Westbrook, 7 of 9 games against OKC. There is 17 to 18 point dog Sacramento. He's gone under 30.5 PRA in 5 of 7 road games when a double-digit dog. 59% of point guards have gone under their points, rebounds, and assists prop. 55% against OKC have gone under their points plus assists prop. OKC's defense is so good. You got to imagine, right? You've got to imagine that the 3rd time through against OKC as a double-digit dog of like 17, that someone else is going to, it's not going to be Westbrook. I'm going under. I don't like for the same results to happen multiple times. So, fine. Take 4 assists. 4 assists is fine. He just isn't going to put up many points. We'll do that way. It already went down, by the way, to 21.5 points plus assists for Russell Westbrook. Let me get these Royal Locks loaded up into here because I've got the one Royal Lock of the day. Garbage points for Russ, though. If he plays, maybe they take him out for garbage time. Let me see if there's any other updates real quick as things are coming through. Let's see updates. Bam, toe, minutes monitored, like you guys said in the chat. 49ers sign a new kicker. Okay, that's it so far. Nothing else. I just kept seeing alerts coming up on my phone, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I assume Jalen Brunson will play tonight, but again, I'm staying away from the Knicks game. Last segment of the day. It is 6:01. Let's get to my best bet. It is a Royal Lock. Royal Lock of the day is brought to you by Pickett Sports. Pickett Sports sponsors the Royal Lock of the day. We are going over 22.5 points plus rebounds for Mr. Rudy Gobert. He's up against the Washington Wizards. Gobert is averaging just under 15 points and just under 12 rebounds when facing a bottom 10 rebounding team this season through those 5 games. Gobert is averaging 31 points plus rebounds against the Wizards in his last 4 against them, going over this number in 3 of his last 4 against Washington. The Wizards allowed the most points per game, the 4th most points allowed in the paint, the most rebounds per game. Alex Sarr is out, the center for the Wizards. Give it to Rudy Gobert in the paint. We're going over 22.5 points plus rebounds against this small not defensively focused Washington Wizards team. That's it for me, the Prop Queen, Ariel Epstein, here on the Prop Queen Pod. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll talk Thursday Night Football. We'll get some more NBA in the mix. Follow along over at the Prop Queen Sports YouTube page. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. If I could hit 1,000 subscribers, it would mean so much to me. And then, of course, remember, you can sign up for Prize Picks, Pick It, Props.cash using promo code PropQueen. Get a little discount, and let's make some money. Good luck to those bets tonight, everybody. See you tomorrow.